Good afternoon and welcome to the June meeting of the City of Murfreesboro Historic Zoning Commission. We determined that we do have a quorum, so I call this meeting to order. Each of you should have received minutes of the regular meeting held on March 19th, and I ask for any corrections or additions that need to be added to these documents to make them correct. Any comments from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to just make one correction. In the minutes, where they refer to Ms. Boffman, and the spelling of her name is incorrect. It should be Baughman. That's the only thing I noticed.
Any other changes or additions? If not, the chair would welcome a motion to approve as noted.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? If not, all those in favor of the acceptance of the minutes with that change, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Diana, would you please give us our first bit of new business, please?
All right. The first item up this afternoon is a request to demolish an existing house. This is at 449 East College Street. It's about a little more than 1/10 of an acre. It is within the historic overlay zone. It's currently zoned residential 8. This property was approved for demolition in 2017. That approval has expired, and they did not demolish the house, so they have to come back and go through this again. I included in your packet information that came from the 2017 file, but this was not resubmitted. So we have cost of restoring the home that was submitted in 2017. Of course, it's 2 years later. And photos that came from the 2017 application as well are included. You have in front of you the historic guidelines that state demolition is appropriate when a building has lost its architectural or historical integrity and importance, and its removal will not result in a more negative, less appropriate visual effect on the district, or a building does not contribute to the historical or architectural character and importance of the district, and its removal will result in a more positive and appropriate visual effect on the district, or denial of the demolition will result in an economic hardship on the applicant as determined by the commission in accordance with the historic zoning ordinance. I'm not going to read all the way through how to determine an economic hardship, but it is included in your staff report. And I believe the applicant is here. Are you here? Yeah, so I'll let him step forward and answer any questions that you might have.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi. Well, would you like to present the project to us then?
Yeah, well, we intend to rebuild, to demolish the home as was approved before, and rebuild a traditional Charleston-style home in its place within the existing setbacks.
When do you intend to demolish?
It depends on you. So quickly.
Quickly?
What other questions does the commission have?
Is the 451 a different owner, or do you guys also own that?
No, it's a different owner.
Okay. And you have come to a meeting of the minds of the combined driveway?
I know we have a 6-foot easement. I intend to build the house a little bit more narrow and have our own driveway. Okay. So it shouldn't be an issue, or it won't be an issue.
Thank you.
Are you aware of the guidelines for infill into the district, that it's got to be of similar massing and scale to the buildings around it and is aesthetically complementary to the neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
So have you already drawn up the plans?
We're drawing up the plans currently. There's a picture in our packet of the exterior that we intend to build. I think there's quite a bit of variety on that block of East College Street.
Well, I would just bring to your attention, there are guidelines you might get with Diana to get that and make sure you're not going too far. I would hate for you to spend a lot of money on drawings and not have them approved. You're welcome to come before us before you get too far and get a general read from us as a consensus on would we approve it or not.
Okay.
But as an architect, I know that the meter's running when they start putting that pencil to the pencil to the paper.
Yes, thank you.
I would encourage you to come before us and look at this, have us look at that with you before you go too far.
Okay, would you suggest, because we're currently just doing the first floor drawing before we go on beyond then, in terms of getting the dimensions of the proposed home, would that be the time
Well,
to come?
You can get into like schematics, whether the elevations and the floor plans would be helpful. I think, you can go a little further, but if you get into start doing details and all the various door schedules, window schedules, all these various things, you may be going too far. I'm not saying there is a problem, but I just think you need to be careful when it's an infill that it is appropriate to the neighborhood and the guidelines that we have to govern by.
All right, yes, sir, I appreciate that.
I feel like you have a bit of a task because you are in the historic district. And I would just add, I mean, the Charleston style is sort of a tiny red flag to me. While it is a historic style of building, it might not necessarily be something that our neighborhoods are familiar with.
Okay.
So, Queen Anne cottages and arts and crafts are all over the place. So if you play on some of those design elements, it might be in your favor to try to help it blend with the neighborhood a little better.
Okay.
But certainly, on the topic of removing this current structure, we've discussed that before. It has been here before us in the past. And I think we can get right to that.
Are there any other questions or comments from the commission? I'm sorry,
Thank you.
state your name and your
My
address.
name's Thomas Holden Jennings.
Current address, is that necessary?
He doesn't live the current address. Could you give your current address?
Yes, 121 Gale Lane.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we approve the request as submitted.
I'd second the motion.
Do we have any further discussion? Just to be clear, this motion is to demolish the house. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Diana, what is our next
Okay, the next
item?
item on the agenda is 446 East Main Street. This is a request to construct a fence. The property encompasses approximately 0.3 acres. It is within the Historic Overlay District. It's currently zoned RS15. The historic guidelines state that accessory structures related to buildings, such as fences, walls, street lamps, etc., should be visually compatible with the environment to which they are related. It specifically speaks to fences. Low retaining walls in front yards should be kept where they exist. New retaining walls should conform in materials and color with the existing structure on the lot. Fences are generally not present in the district, but they may be added to a lot if they are similar material to other fences and structures in the vicinity, and if they are constructed so as not to disrupt the visual harmony of the front area of the lots. The commission should discuss the appropriateness and compatibility of the proposed masonry fence along the property line, and the applicant is here to answer any questions you might have. And I think he passed out a new drawing as opposed to what was in your packet. I don't know what the differences are yet.
If the applicant would like to come up to the podium and state your name and your address, that would be great.
Good afternoon. My name is Blake Smith. My wife and I live at 446 East Main Street. One of our neighbors was kind enough to sell us a small piece of land behind our house, which is why we're here today. We would like to fence that in. I gave you a new drawing. I will apologize. The driveway was in an ink color that's not showing up on there, but kind of incidental here. What we're proposing is, if you look at the drawing in the upper left corner, there's an existing fence which we intend to just leave. You'll see where there's a statement. It says there's an existing 84-inch wood fence to be removed. That's our old property line, or approximately where it is. We want to remove that and rebuild a new fence of similar construction at the back of the lot, which would be to the left of this page. Wood construction, we would put the framing members toward the inside of the lot, unlike it is now that the finished side's to us.
The finished side is to you?
Finished side is currently to us. We would put the finished side out.
You're going to get the ugly side?
We get the ugly stuff. So, but this would be on the back of the property. About 10 feet beyond that, there's an existing 4-foot-high chain link fence on our neighbor's property. On the, what would be the east border there, we also show proposed new 84-inch high fence similar to the back. And when we purchased this land, the property line was squared up, and so you'll see a slight skew of where the fence is now, and a small piece of an existing fence. At the first red square that you see there, that is the post that supports my neighbor's iron gate that's shown there, just to give you a reference point. So that area back there is pretty heavily vegetated, and
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you say that again about the posts?
oh, I'm sorry. At the bottom of the page, you'll see some red squares, which is a column for the brick wall that I'm going to get to. That is the location of the current gate post for my neighbor. I'm just giving that as a reference of where this is. You'll see a note there. It says existing 84-inch iron fence to be removed and repurposed. Our intent is to remove that fence and move it to the front of the lot and tie it into one of the columns at the front of our screen porch. We're proposing to use that for two reasons. One is we have it, we should reuse it, and two is it leaves the visual part of our yard open to the street. We don't think that affects it near as much as a wall would there. We would install a new gate and repair our driveway, which needs to be fixed. On the bottom of the page, you'll see a note. It says 84-inch high masonry wall with columns 12 foot on center, or approximately that. There's a picture that is of my neighbor's brick wall that's of similar construction. We will attempt to find a brick that most closely matches the brick of our house. It was built in 1869. I'm sure we can't get it in stock, but we can find something that's pretty close. Are there any questions about where I've gone so far?
Do we have photographs that can be
I
put
don't
on the
have
screen?
photographs.
I'm sorry, I handed you the
Can you
Okay.
take this back and then walk us through the, which fence goes where, just so we're all on the same page? Because it appears we have 3 or 4 fences, existing and new, and I want to make sure that we make the, probably need to be
Let me see
back.
if we can get this on the overhead.
Can you? Oh,
I can ask while they're setting that up, what's currently in the location where the masonry wall, new masonry wall is going? Is there
I'm sorry?
Is there anything in place of where the masonry wall is, the new wall is going?
There's nothing there now.
Right now?
No, we're trying to achieve some privacy.
if we're lucky that this works, and I know technology, because it's a foreign subject for me,
We have good helpers here.
I'm counting on it. Could you walk us back through, based on the photographs, where each
Yes,
of these will go?
I will.
Yeah.
Can they see that? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't know we had that.
And let's call this like Plan North, Plan South, Plan Left or Right, or
Okay.
whatever. So
Top of the page is north.
it doesn't really matter. You can say, because it's a plan, you can say it's Plan, you can call it Plan North,
Okay.
or top of the page, the bottom of the page,
Okay.
whatever you want to do.
Okay. I'll start with that picture right there. That would be on the bottom of the page at approximately where that red column is proposed there. That is actually my neighbor's fence. Our fence is made of the same material. It's that fence. That's 84 inches tall. It is iron. That would be the similar fence that I said we would like to remove and repurpose to the front of the lot. So that would be the appearance across the front. And when it came to, from the, we didn't think it would look good to put brick up against our columns and across the front of the house. It just blocks and doesn't fit. But I think this is transparent enough where we can tie into one of our columns, come across. We would like to build masonry sides to the gate itself, and we would like to put a light on top of each of those, if that would be acceptable, similar to the lights that we got approved to change out on our front porch. We brought that to the commission earlier. So that fence there would be along the front of the house. The wooden, I don't know how to change this screen.
Can you just move the,
Move the image away and put a new one in.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you'll have to turn it. There you go.
This is, I can see it. Can you see it?
It's a tape measure.
I don't know how to focus it. There we go. Okay. This is the fence that you would find on the left side of this page that is existing now. This is our view from the inside. Again, that is 7 feet tall. It's 1 by 6 planks. It's been stained, the framings to the outside. We would propose to take a similar constructed fence and move it back 40 feet to where this new property line is.
This is the one you want to, that's existing and you want to remove,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Yes, sir. And essentially rebuild it in
Same
better
side.
framing to our side.
So flipping the bad side toward you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're good there? That would be on
Did you say
the,
there was an existing chain link fence beyond that, not on your property?
it's not on our property. It's 10 feet behind there. It is in disrepair. I'm sure that someday they will do something with that. He might let me take it out for him because I don't think he needs it.
It'd be hard to maintain between, but it's this new fence here and this part as well, is that design?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, approximately how far would your new back property line be from Vine Street?
130
there's-
feet.
There's another lot behind you still.
Oh, yeah. There's
Okay,
a-
I
there's
didn't
another
know
lot.
if this was taking you all the way to Vine or not. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But what Mr. Thompson suggested just now, that will be difficult to maintain between the old chain link fence and our new fence. And the owner is a cooperative person. I would probably just tell him I'll take that down for him. And he has another big fence beyond that. So I think we could get that done.
Okay.
So that's the left side, and the bottom left, that's the construction there. And the first picture that we had is what you would see from the front of the house. That is actually the section of fencing that we propose to reuse. I don't know how old it is, but it is real wrought iron, and it is 7 feet tall. And we will have to make a gate new, but of similar construction. But we want to reuse that material there.
But to be real clear, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. That is what you're moving to be in the front yard,
Yes,
or the side front yard?
yes. Yes, and if you requested us to separate that with brick columns, we would do that. We kind of thought it would be better to just be the fence without the columns. I think it's less interruptive of the view. But we're open to whatever you suggest there.
I think it's less of a change.
Yeah.
Like, what, your neighbor's gates, are yours gonna be similar to theirs? Isn't that what I see here on the photo?
Yes, we would like to have something similar to that. It's a little bigger. I mean, it's about 9 feet tall in the center.
Oh, is it?
Now, I understand that the height of these is a little higher than you typically see. I would bring up that the floor heights of these houses are 12 feet, and these are tall structures, and from a proportion standpoint, I almost think they look squatty if they're too short, but these are existing heights and, similar conditions to what we're proposing to do. So we're good on the iron, or we understand the iron anyway, and the wood. Okay? And then this one. This is my neighbor's brick wall that we're proposing to build in a similar manner. It's 7 feet tall, the columns are slightly taller. They have a limestone cap. They're approximately 12 foot apart. That's what we intend to do. And again, we would try to select a brick that matches as close as possible to what we have. It doesn't actually touch the house anywhere, but we want it to look good as well. We're going to move our driveway over a little bit and hopefully find room to put some landscaping along that brick wall. We've got to avoid we don't want to tear up our trees that are mature there, but I think that all of these elements exist actually adjacent to our house. These aren't new ideas, we're just reusing them. And I do understand it's a little weird that there's 3 different style fences, but I think you can see why we're doing that. It sort of makes sense there. We've lived here for 3 years on East Main, and we are big proponents of trying to keep our city. We love the historical part of it, and we don't want to interfere with that. I think this meets that need.
So I'm sorry.
Do you have an image of the planned north fence?
It looks very similar to the other fence. It was almost the
Wood
same.
one or the wrought iron?
The iron. I'm sorry, it's iron fence.
So in effect, you have 3 styles: a wood fence, iron fence, and a brick fence.
Yes, sir.
So the gate, Blake, is also going to be wrought iron.
Yes, sir.
So 450 still gets access by you moving your driveway.
Our intent is for that to no longer exist in that manner.
Okay.
And we'll ask him if he would like us to move that up. We would do that for him.
So the driveway would be asphalt or concrete?
Concrete.
Concrete.
Is that part of this request then?
Yes.
A new concrete driveway?
Yes.
And the fence?
Yes, sir. And we haven't really investigated it. We were thinking about doing some decorative concrete, at least up to from the street to the gate, and then standard concrete from there on.
What concerns me is decorative concrete could be anything without an image. We don't know what that is.
Okay.
It could look like something at Opryland, or it could be something at a crosswalk here in town. And also the lights you mentioned. I think we need to see cut sheets.
Are you okay if it's just concrete?
Yeah.
We're good with that. We thought maybe you would want something else, but we're good with concrete.
I'm only speaking for myself. I don't know about the board,
Okay.
The commission, but
I don't want any flamingos.
yeah, I don't want you.
No flamingos?
Come on.
But the lights are going to be the same as they put on their house when they came to see us before.
I wasn't here for that meeting,
Oh,
so,
okay.
okay. As long as you all remember that and you're
Yeah.
fine with that, that will be part
Of
of the vote.
course, the ones on our house are wall mounted. These would be post mounted, but similar architecture.
I remember we approved it. I don't remember
what
what
it
they
looks
look like.
How tall are they going to stick above the cap of the post?
I believe the top of the cap's close to 8 feet, and the fixtures are about 18 inches tall overall, I believe.
Oh, okay. I first thought you were saying the fixture was this wide, and I'm like, ooh.
Wow.
We actually removed some from our garage that were quite large. They looked wrong. We took them away.
So the top of your fence will be at 84, and that is 7 feet, but the post will be 8 feet?
Yes,
So
sir.
we'll stick up the extra foot.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions of this applicant?
I'm thinking about the brick color, Blake. I like the idea of matching your house, but I'm also sitting here thinking how this from the old Darrow house matches the brick of the Darrow house, and then you would be building basically on the other side of that same house.
Right.
So I wonder if it maybe should lean towards matching the existing brick that's already out there for the Darrow house versus the brown brick of your house. It would probably give the feeling that that's the neighbor's fence if you did that, unfortunately, but
We're not particular.
yeah.
Whatever you would kind of like us to. They're not as different as you might think. They're both, it's brown, but it definitely has
Okay.
tones in it that
Yeah.
they aren't so different, but
And, you know, odds are, I guess you're probably not going to match it.
You're not gonna match it.
Anyway, so, you know,
One.
it doesn't touch any other brick, and
it's far, there's some distance. So I just wanted to point it out, but I know your work, so I'm not too
well,
concerned. Yeah,
we'll do our, we're not wanting it to look bad.
I
You
understand.
can do one side to match your house, the other side to match their house.
I'm pretty sure you would not like that if I brought that to you.
Or you can make the columns to match your house and the infill, the wall. Their house.
Okay. I'm game if you want it that way.
No, I'm just messing with you.
I suspect both of us will probably plant vegetation and try to make that look good.
Better.
I have a question for staff then. And when a brick is selected, does it come back before staff for final approval or anything like that?
I don't believe so.
Well, normally, we ask for samples, like, that's why I was asking about the lights and all the other things. So normally, we would see, like, if it was an asphalt shingle, we would want to know what it looked like, and brick and this kind of thing. So it'd be nice to get a brick.
Okay. I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
I could bring you a cut sheet for those lights and,
I think just to have a tidy package that has everything, so that when they go out there to inspect the work, that they know that you did indeed use the light that matches what you have. Here's the cut sheet that was approved previously. Here's the brick that was approved. We can give you, I think, conditional approval with those exceptions.
Okay.
And it be followed up by those cut sheets that we can give you approval.
okay. Where do I take those things or submit
I
those?
would take them to Diana.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll resubmit where this was submitted, and if you're going to put the lights, we need to amend the application to also say that you want to add lights, because it's not in the application.
Well, we need to amend it to also say the driveway. I think it
Yeah.
doesn't say that.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Please
Okay.
bring us something with the concrete too, because I hate to limit you to just plain concrete there. If you had something nicer in mind,
Yeah. If you
Certainly.
have a design in mind, feel free to submit
What
it.
would you like to see? I mean, we're pretty open. We want it to be right.
Is this going to be a stamped pattern on?
We were thinking of something that looks like a brick just because the stark whiteness of concrete, to me, our driveway's crumbled asphalt look right now. And I didn't really want to go back with asphalt, but, yeah, our neighbor on the other side has exposed pea gravel, which I don't think that was necessarily period correct either, but,
a stamped brick or a stamped cobblestone or something like that.
I think that's
would be-
kind of what we were thinking, just kind of tone it a little bit down, but,
I would ask, if you're going to do that, you submit a drawing that shows the extent to which you're going to do this stamped concrete,
okay,
and a cut sheet that shows the pattern, so we know all about it.
okay.
I think we probably can approve other things here today,
Oh, yeah.
but some of these minute details, I think, it's all in the details,
Okay.
as you know. So we want to make sure that it fits within the neighborhood. I think it's important to know that.
But if we just wanted plain concrete, you're okay with that?
I think we'd have to hear from the board in the vote.
I mean, it's an improvement, so, you know,
I-
I don't expect you're going to get any pushback, but
Okay,
I suspect you'd get approval on plain concrete.
okay.
Don't know what you would get if you stamped something wild and crazy out there.
Okay,
Your
I think we're
initial's
safe.
12 feet tall, you know,
yeah, I
don't
think we're safe. I would request approval for what I asked there, if possible.
so I would move for approval of the 3 types of fencing based on the diagram that's been presented, and conditional approval on the driveway and lighting elements. with the owner producing a cut sheet for further consideration.
Could we amend that, your motion to
Please.
include something about the brick as well, please?
Yes, yes, I knew I was skipping one there.
Second that motion.
So just to review, though, a cut sheet on the lights, a cut sheet
Driveway,
on the driveway if you want to put a stamped
Stamp.
concrete and a sample of the brick. Does that accurately reflect it to the
Yep.
commission?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
you, Blake.
And
Appreciate it.
thank you for getting into the details with us. It's really important.
I feel unprepared, but thank you very much.
Just for my clarification, do you want him to bring these back at the next meeting for you to see?
I don't think it would delay your construction, would it? Do you have a schedule that says you have to have an answer before a month's time?
Well, I mean, we would probably start our wood fence immediately, but
I
you're
don't
okay
think
with
the
that,
wood
right?
fence is- The wood fence
wood
is not
fence
the
is
issue.
fine.
To me, it's the brick.
Yeah.
Yep, whatever you want me to do. I'm not going to have it up before the next meeting, I'm pretty sure. So,
Okay.
if that doesn't mess with your
It does
timeline,
mess
that
with
would be.
time. I mean, I think,
I-
I think
I-
it possibly could, if it did, she could send pictures to all of
I
us, and
could
we
send
might could do
pictures,
it
yeah.
by
okay,
email or by phone vote. I don't know the technicalities, David.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But if not, if you could bring it to the meeting,
okay.
we can then vote on
Okay.
that.
Would you be okay if we need to do a footing? We may go ahead and cut the driveway and put a footing in and
I-
things like that, and just not veneer it.
You can, yeah.
Okay,
We don't want to delay you.
okay, I very much appreciate that.
Yes.
And I'll try to pick 3 or 4 bricks that we're not particular about it, so.
I would encourage, you are not going to match the brick no matter how well you try. It just doesn't happen. Even if you if you're building a brand-new house and you placed an order and it was too small and you reordered, you probably would not get the same exact color. It happens all the time. I would try to find one that's as close to the brick that you're talking about possibly matching, and then find one that you like. Could be the same brick, but I'd like to see the variation of what is the one closest to you and what is the one that you would like,
Okay,
if it's different.
okay. Our house actually has 3 different bricks on it now from 3 different construction periods, which I find kind of interesting, so, but I understand your point, and we'll bring some samples.
It also would be helpful to have a photograph of your samples up against your existing house. Because I think it'll be hard
Yes.
just looking at samples to know.
Yes.
Okay,
You know, like,
Yeah,
even
just-
especially
Okay.
if it's email.
Just stack them against your house and take a
Okay.
picture and send that.
okay.
Thank you.
I can do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Blake.
Thanks.
Diana, our last item?
Our last item, the pictures seem to have been cut off, so I'm going to pass them around for you, just pulling them out of the file. This is a request to add a porch rail at 415 East College from Ms. Mary Bowman. Ms. Bowman is 92 or 93 years old and asked me if I would present this on her behalf. She has difficulty getting in and out, but she's quite coherent. So she is asking, let me just start here. It is in the Historic Overlay District. It's zoned residential 8. She is requesting to add railing spindles to the porch. The historic guidelines state that any alteration is a change in building material or an additional architectural feature. Oops. And then you have a list there that shows you the things you'd need to take into consideration for that. She is stating that the spindles would match the jailhouse design that's in the windows on this property. That's what she called it. I think you'll see the straight lines in her windows on that second floor, and she's not going to use, I guess you would say, a really detailed spindle. She wants the flat to match what's with the window.
What's the composition?
Wood. She will replace with wood, since that's what's in the railings and stuff now.
I didn't, as they sent the picture by, didn't see the jailhouse. Is it a square spindle or is it a turn spindle?
I'm assuming from the discussion with her that she is talking about a square spindle, because that's what would be similar to what is in the window.
It's turned.
What's presented in this image is a turned one.
Yeah, somebody in her family, and I don't know who, brought that to me with it pasted on there. I don't know, that's not officially from her. She asked me to present it, and if I could use the picture off of Google just to show what her house was. So
And what's the height of the fence?
let me see if she put on here. I don't think she has a requested height, so we could set that at whatever you feel is appropriate.
Have a railing height?
Codes may have a height that would be required. I would assume around 3 feet, but I don't know. She didn't request anything specifically.
And then there'll be something on the side too that faces Island?
That's my understanding, all the way around except for where the steps go down.
Will there be a handrail at the railing? I mean, at the,
She did not request a railing.
At the steps?
Her reason for this is not railings to go down the steps, but she has great-grandchildren that she's afraid are going to fall off her porch. So she wants to put the railing across there to keep them from falling down on the side, but not coming down the steps, no.
Okay, now I'm confused.
So she's talking about it's a porch, and you've got the 2 columns there, and there's nothing in between there. She wants to put a railing just between those columns.
And block the steps.
No,
No,
where the steps aren't.
No, there's just going to be there's not going to be any handrails coming down.
Okay,
Yeah.
Around the
she's
side
talking about right
porch.
here on the
Okay.
sides, but nothing coming down here, just right there and down the side.
okay. Do we know the height of that porch? I doubt it.
Off the ground?
Off the ground.
About 2.5 feet. I mean, I just eyed it coming over here, so it's
Okay.
about 2.5 feet.
I think HUD standard's 2 feet. If it's over 2 feet, it's supposed to have something, but
I never can remember if it's 30 inches or 36 inches, so I always have to look it up.
So we need to be specific. Jim, you pointed out that the example that she sent us is turned. And it needs to be flat if she's going to continue with the, as she said, jailhouse style. Is that correct?
To me, we don't have enough information
Okay.
to review this. I think we need an architectural drawing, at the very least, that might show 2 pairs of columns with the details, because there's a masonry cap with a top to it that cantilevers over, I'm going to say an inch, inch and a half, and then there's 2 columns that come up at each location. I'd love to know where it attaches in relationship to the masonry part, what the height is, what the style is. Is it going to go all the way to the concrete slab of the porch floor? Is it going to be raised up? All those various details. And there's also a code issue about if you have guardrails, that the space between the, and that's more than 36 inches, but I still would like to know what is the spacing of the balusters or pickets or whatever you want to call them. I just think we need to know more about it.
I'd like to make a motion, we defer action on this item until we get more detail regarding the fence materials and the heights and the type.
All right. I will go back to her and get more information directly from her.
I'll second that.
I don't know if we need to vote on that, but I'd assume we do.
Deferral, I think so, yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, yes, we do need to make a,
do
okay.
think you
So
have
we
to
have a,
vote
we
on
have a motion and a second. Is there any further additional comments or questions from the commission? If not, all those in favor of deferring this particular item, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The motion is carried to defer this then. Thank you. Because this even shows the balusters. Is there any additional business?
Yes, we have one other thing. Just wanted to let you all know that I did speak with the planning director concerning the survey that we wanted to do and apply for the grant that's through the State Historic Board. And he is okay with us going forward with that and will help us in any way he can. And we'll just, I've gotten the application from them. I've gotten a sample application of what's been done in the past. So we'll start working on getting that turned in.
And I think the approval of the grant is in January.
Yeah, so she said they haven't actually called for applications yet, so we can't go in on the website and fill it out, but we can go ahead and start that process of getting our information together. And that's it, that's all I have.
Perfect. Any additional items that the board, the commission would like to bring up? If not, the chair would welcome a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Oh,
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.